Hey, it's Derick Gant, and I am ready to rock and roll. You know what? We have taken a little siesta, but we are awake and ready, and we are back. I'm Derick. This is
Derick Gant. How you guys doing today?
And we are here to help. This segment, we're really looking to help our young people, our young guns, our young professionals, young entrepreneurs that are seeking something amazing in their lives. They're seeking a shortcut. They don't want to do all that work. They want to know, okay, what should I not do, right? Not what should I do, what shouldn't I do? And then you can whittle it down to what should I do and how aggressively should I be doing it.
Especially with all these options.
Options. I love options though.
It's overwhelming.
It is probably overwhelming. Now I say that because I'm older, so I'm stuck in a good way in my ways, right? I just avoid the noise. So what are you saying? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking when you were young, you probably had 10 jobs to choose from. You can be a newspaper boy.
Yeah.
You could probably, did y'all have McDonald's like that back then? I'm sure it wasn't on every corner, was it?
No, it wasn't on every corner, but it was all over the place.
So you could probably go get a McDonald's job and mop some floors.
Yeah, but are you talking about a kid, or are you talking a young professional?
I'm just saying even in that realm.
Yeah.
As a kid, there wasn't that many options.
I mean, I like the options today if I was a young kid. Watch video games, play video games, have people pay you millions of dollars because you're good at it.
My boy was just in a tournament yesterday.
Yeah?
$500.
There you go. That'd be a great job for a kid. Play all day.
All
right?
day.
You teach people how to play games, or they like watching you, and they pay you, and advertisers. So I'm not sure which options you are too overwhelmed with.
Well, it's just so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you can drown in Indeed. You put your resume in Indeed. And
well, now you're switching gears. So now you're going back to young professionals.
I'm just encompassing the whole thing from 16 to 18 or 20.
Yeah. Well, hey,
22.
I've told you once, I've told you a million times, try it all.
Yeah.
Right? If there's something you think you might want to get into, that you think might be part of your hustle, your grind, your flow, why not try it?
Right.
Now, as long as it doesn't take an extra degree.
Right.
Or, something crazy, because there's enough money in the educational system that you don't need to keep going, taking new degrees and new classes and all those type of things. But as long as it's something that you can do, try it.
And there's even some mentors online that you will see, if you're in your 20s, throw them away. Basically, go get a degree, get debt.
Yeah.
Throw your life away, and
I'm not a big fan. You already know. I'm not a big fan of tons of degrees and school and all that. I mean, I have a degree. You have a degree. My sister has almost a PhD. We have tons of family with PhDs, Juris Doctorates. I mean, school is great. However, in today's environment, getting your money back from what you pay to get the degree is debatable.
Right.
Especially when you can go to a trade school, you can be self-taught, you can go and get digital learning courses from Harvard or Yale or Toledo or Bowling Green or wherever you are. Or are not. You can go to Phoenix Academy and get a degree online, or just take the courses you need to do what you need to do.
So just that I'm overwhelmed a little bit right there. So the main thing that I want to relay is to whittle it down. Should it be degree, fresh out of high school, or even in high school looking out, or even fresh out of college and you got yours? What should they be
thinking about and doing?
Thinking about
I believe very strongly that at the end of the day, it's all about the person. It's all about you. And what I mean by that is that the sooner you know what you like, the sooner you know what you love, the sooner you know what you're passionate about, the sooner you know, I would do this for free if they let me, right? Like, that's why I went all the way in on football.
Right.
Because it was something I would do for free just to compete. I just wanted to beat somebody down. I wanted to run past somebody. I wanted to catch something and laugh at them, right? But at the same time, if you were good enough, you could make a ton of money doing it. So the sooner you find that, the better. It could be 5, 10, 15, or 20. The sooner you find what you really, really want to do, that you're really good at naturally, the less options you have. So for instance, if you can't stand cooking, right?
Get your ass out
Then you know you're not going to be a chef. You know you're not going to deal with food. You know you don't want to work in a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of eliminates a whole lot of things that you're not going to do. And so the more you do that, I really don't like taking trash out. I really don't like shoveling snow. I really don't like manual labor. Right? That was one of my things. I had tons of manual labor jobs in college and high school, and every time I was breaking down a driveway or shoveling snow or doing something of really hard labor, I was like, that ain't for me. Right? So it kept me in school because I knew I needed some soft skills because the hard skills wasn't my first thing. Very physically capable. Yes, I'm strong enough, built to tear down driveways or take a sledgehammer and break up a driveway and then load it up in a truck. Definitely capable, but didn't want to, right? Didn't like getting my hands dirty, didn't like being dirty, didn't like being hot and sweaty, So what I believe is that you figure out what you like and what you don't like first off the gate.
Okay, so should we write down a list? There's pet peeves or things that I hate doing?
If you're serious about what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go and what you should do, and as we get closer to graduating high school, the more serious you should be. So I'm not saying keep a list. I'm saying, you should immediately know if I said to you, hey, what's your favorite subject? And you say, it's math. Okay, well, great. So what do you think about English? I hate English. What about history? Hell no. You start with, you should just know what you like and don't like. I don't like video games, right? And it's not because of the video games, it's because they move so fast, they change so much that I can't win, and I'm not willing to invest the time to become a winner, and I can't stand losing.
Right.
So I don't play video games. You know this for a long time. I don't play video games. I don't do anything I can't win at.
Right.
Because I'm competitive. So when you start looking at high school and going into college and those type of things, to make the decision, you just need a real solid running total in your head of what you like, what you don't like, what you think you might want to do and what you don't want to do. And that's where you're going to start.
So mental notes. What about the people who you talked about wasting your time, who are they know what they want to do, or they at least have an idea, they're passionate about it, it's going to take some money, some time, some growth, and they're just looking to stack as much as they can.
Right.
You got the get rich quick schemes, you got everything that's on TikTok and YouTube saying do this on the side.
Right.
Should they try to juggle 10 things and do drop shipping and go cut grass 2 times a week and do all these other things while they're trying to just build up? Or should they stay in the mailroom and maybe have a part-time job at Wendy's or something like that?
I know that each and every one of us have something inside of us, some gift, some ability that if we were to polish it up, or if you want to use the knife, if you want to sharpen, steel sharpen steel, if you want to sharpen your knife, if they really tapped into their gift, right? It might be the gift of gab, it might be look at some rappers, they're super quick-witted, they have great memories for history, but anyway, you want to tap into what your gifts are at a high level. So I would say, hey, if you're working in the mailroom and that's where you ultimately want to be, and you need to make more money, of course, get a side hustle or get another job or figure something out. But again, I would be tapping into my gifts and say, okay, if I could do anything in the universe, given what I already know and what I love to do, what would I do with that? Maybe you're super creative and you can design clothing or shirts or something along those lines. Or maybe you're really good at writing and you can help start writing blogs, or you can write a blog or start writing blogs about broadcast or about the behind the scenes in news or how a story really comes together or what. So you can start to garner attention, because this is a world of attention.
Yes.
Like how much attention can you get? And then how can I get paid from that attention? And so, if you position yourself when you're young, because this is for young people, with little to no debt, and let's say, your expenses are $1,000 and you can figure out how to make $1,500, which means you're putting $500 a month away, $6,000 a year. That's more money than most people have that are making $100,000.
That's a great point.
Okay, so you want to tap into your gifts. You want to be happy. You don't want to be flipping burgers on as a side gig, or doing things that people are degrading you, or you putting you down, or you're not feeling value just to do it, right? And if you have to, then you do it, but make sure you have a plan and a strategy.
Okay, so there are so many people who are gonna watch this and are currently locked into a job.
Yeah.
What should they start doing? Should they start that side hustle and just be at their job until that side hustle supersedes what they're making right now, or at least matches it?
You have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy. You have to be focused. You have to be tenacious. So what I'm saying to you is this: if you're stuck, so there's a lot of people that were in college, they started working for a local manufacturer, like an automotive manufacturer. They were paying almost double what anybody else was paying, so it's like great paying jobs for younger people. However, you get and fall in love, you buy a car, you want to rent, move out on your own, you're dating somebody, you have a kid. Before you blink, you're 10 years in and you're stuck. So what should that person do? I still say they should go back to their gifts. So when we talk about self-mastery all the time, knowing what you're amazing at and then being able to get it out of you on a consistent basis is self-mastery. So I know I don't like to do this, this, and this. So you're stuck in that deal. You work for that company from 9 to 5, okay? Or whatever your shift is. You should have a shift for yourself. So what should you really do? You should really cut off Showtime. You should really cut off HBO. You should stop watching all these series all the time. There's a time and a place for everything. So if you're going to go off and work 8 hours for somebody else, don't you think you should be putting in 4 hours for yourself? I mean, even if it was 2 hours a day for yourself, trying to discover what you're good at, trying to figure out how to monetize it, understanding what the market is, understanding how the market and your gifts match up so that you can get that paper, so you can grab your bag, and then becoming an expert at it, which means, like Marshawn Lynch says, this is how what's your philosophy when you're running? He said, hit them in the face over and over and over and over. Then he took a breath and he said, and over and over, because it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. So you might be great at it. You might really be interested in it. You might think it's the thing, but you got to become an expert at it. You can't just say, yeah, I'm good at this because I like it. No, you gotta get in there and you gotta dig. 10,000 hours.
Okay, so would you recommend that somebody go get a CDL or get a factory, really high paying jobs is what I'm talking about, that are more or less easy to get, especially if you know somebody already in there, and then have their real job be that self-mastery, figuring out themselves, figuring out what they should become an expert at, using all their, or a lot of their spare time to build that up?
As long as you're awake. You gotta be awake. So I was just telling somebody not too long ago that, did you know like Walmart's hiring drivers and paying them like $80,000, $180,000 to $125,000 like right off the rip if you get your CDL.
That's crazy.
And they'll pay for it, they'll train you, and then you can go off.
It's a good job.
And it's a great job,
That's
right?
a good job.
And so I was just saying to them, these jobs do exist. The issue, of course, is that how many truck drivers do you know that their body breaks down and is really hard on themselves, and so it doesn't do well for them longevity-wise. So when I say as long as they're awake, what I'm really saying is if they look at it and say, okay, I don't want to do this forever. I'm going to do this for 3 years. I'm going to save up, $30,000 a year. So I'm going to have $90,000 to $100,000 saved, and I'm going to study and perfect my craft on my personal mastery side. And then I'm going to launch into my own deal after 3 years, after I do these things, yeah, that's definitely something to do.
Okay.
Right? But if you go in there and say, one day I'm going to write a book, one day I'm going to start my own business, one day I'm going to do X, Y, Z, one day I'm going to become a doctor, one day I'm going to be a lawyer, whatever, and all you do is drive, and you have no room to perfect that craft or get into it and really develop it, or because you're not awake, you're thinking, I'm going to just do this for a little bit, and a little bit turns into 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That's what you don't want.
And that also sounds like people who work 12s.
Yeah.
Like, so should those people reconsider their jobs? Because a lot of them can't reconsider the hours.
Right.
If you're working 12s, you're either working 12s on this shift, that shift,
but
you're
if
not
you're
working.
but if you're working 12s, you don't do it every day.
And you got some days off.
Right? So you usually, if you work 12s, or the people that I know, nurses that are clients of mine that work 12s, they might work 3 or 4 days a week.
Right.
Right? They don't work more than 4 days a week on a 12. So that means that on the other days, you have time to discover, practice, nurture, grow your true passion.
So basically, you got to set that time out, create a block for yourself.
I can tell you one way to not have to worry about that. Win the lottery. Right? That's it. Everything else is work.
Yeah.
And time. Right? It's work and time. If you create designer jean jackets, I know somebody, they put patches on these jackets, right? And they're dope, like fly. But it takes creativity, it takes resources, it takes letting people know that you make fly jean jackets. And if you're making $60,000 or $70,000, how many jean jackets do you have to fix up to neutralize that so you can leave the other job? I mean, it takes a lot of work to get yourself out there. And the ones that are willing to do the work are the ones that win. And trust me, we've talked about this before, it's only 5 to 10%. Only 5 to 10% of people win.
Right.
Everybody else is in the average category, right? So if you want to win, meaning that you can eat off of designing jackets, you can eat, travel, vacation, chill, buy a house, your car, off of this, that takes work. Takes work.
You're not wrong. So, your path that you laid out after college, I've never heard that story. Now, you kind of laid out mine. Right after college, came into work for you as an advisor.
Right.
Got some of my friends in there, and then I always knew that real estate was going to be a part of my life.
Okay.
And I always knew that I wanted to invest, and I didn't want anybody else controlling my money. So I became an agent, one of the most knowledgeable people in the real estate game.
Right.
Unless you've been in it for 30 years as an investor.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I can now kill 2 birds with the same stone. However, that does take some money to get into, and I have an exit strategy after real estate to invest in all these other things.
Right.
Someone with that mindset who wants to go into a trade that costs some money, that's going to take 3 months to get into before they even sell a house.
Right.
What do you recommend for them?
Well, I strongly suggest that whatever it is you're going to do, if it's brand new, that you do your best to do your homework. So, for you, I introduce you to some other real estate agents.
Yes.
Right?
First,
go hang out with them, see what it's really like, listen to their stories, find out how much money they made year 1, year 3, year 5, year 10. So go do your homework. So like ride along. If you want to be a nurse, you should find a nurse or at a hospital and say, I'm really thinking about this. People will give you inside scoop if you ask them. It sounds crazy, like, well, who's going to let me come watch them be a nurse? Well, first of all, you know what nurses do. But go talk to them. What's the greatest part about this? What's the worst part about this? What's, what can't you get over? Would you do something different if you were my age? I ask that question. I used to ask the question all the time.
Really?
I still ask it to older people than me. If you were my age, and between me and you, there's 20 years, what would you do different? I mean, you got to ask those questions because that's the key to understanding, should you do it or not? Life is tough, but you're ready to do anything possible to make it better. The key is you have to zone in on exactly what it is you want. And then you have to put all of your energy into that. You know, I wish I could tell you it was easy, but it takes immense dedication, determination, and focus to really get what you want. But when you fix your focus, you fix your family, you fix your fitness, and you fix your finances. Now let me tell you, money is just the doorway to your success. The real focus is on your pathway. So we'll plan a path that will help you to elevate your life so that you can become the absolute best version of yourself. And then everything else falls into place. Are you ready? It takes 3 months to get licensed. If it takes 3 to 6 months and you've done the homework, that's nothing. I mean, it is a blink in your life's timeline. So it's
like talking to young folk.
Yeah, but it's still a blink, right? I mean, if you're 30 and you decide you want to be a lawyer, great. It's not late. It's not late. It's going to take you a year or two. You're 32, 33. You take another 2 or 3 years to build your practice. You're 36. Now you've built your practice and you're a lawyer. I mean, 36 is nothing. I'm 56.
And notice what he didn't say, which was go on YouTube or hop on Google and do some research. He said find somebody.
No, real people. I mean, you know, if you're trying to buy a crock pot, you want to know if it's a great crock pot, you go on Google and look at the reviews. The reviews. If you want to go on YouTube and see if it really works, that's great. But for life, you need life, and we lose connections with people. And so you can go on and, of course, you can do some research, but you really want to go find somebody. Let's say, for instance, you want to do something, and you're in Michigan, and you found somebody that's doing exactly what you want to do, exactly the way you want to do it, and they live in San Diego. You know, you do your homework, figure out how to connect with that person. If they're not a movie star, they will take your call, right? Or they will answer your email if you structure it right. Hey, I'm a young person, and I really trying to do this the right way. I've been following you. I've been seeing your stuff. Go on their stuff, like it, share it, ask questions there, and then reach out to them and say, I'd love to ask you 2 or 3 vital questions, you know, when you have some time. I promise you they will do it. Not unless they're an asshole, but for the most part, most people they want to tell you how great they are. Oh, you want to be like me? Sure, young fella. Let's get on the call. Let me tell you how great I am. And then as long as you got the right questions, you're in.
And that sounds like a great way to find a mentor on top of that.
Potentially. You got to be willing to do the work. Hey, you know, I called you, we talked, I did everything that you said, here's the result. I have a few more questions. You think they're going to take your call?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know how many times people have called me and said, hey, I need some help, and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, did you do what we talked about 2 years ago? Well, no. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to tell you today. This is what I told you 2 years ago. Do that. I promise you, do that. And they're like, okay. But they're not serious about really elevating. They don't want to be part of that 5-10% that win, like really win, right? I ran into a guy today that I know. We bumped into him, and he's like, I was like, hey, how you doing? He goes, I told you I was retired, right? I'm like, yeah, every time I see you tell me you're retired. He goes, I'm living the life. It's love. That's what he said, right? So he's free. And that's what he loves. He's free. He's stacked up enough cash to do what he wants. He's eliminated his debt. So he's got very minimal responsibilities, and he's just doing whatever he wants to do. That's freedom.
That's what we're all looking for.
That's what we're all looking for.
I love it. So just let's go back down the checklist one more time.
Okay.
So what you want to do is self-actualization.
Absolutely.
You want to go through all your likes, all your dislikes, even if you got to go back to high school days and remember what your favorite subject was.
If you go back before high school, you remember like, man, I remember being a little kid. I couldn't stand being dirty.
Right.
As a little kid, my mom used to tell me, your grandma, hey, she used to say, look, you going out there. And she says, I would stand at the screen door looking out there, like, I want to go out there. And she said she'd push me out to go play with the kids or whatever. And
Division I football.
I would be back. I would be back in minutes. Like, okay, is that enough? When I played Division I football in Midwest Ohio, it would rain. It's flat. It'd be muddy. I'd be at the end of practice. My gear would be white. Because I'm not trying, I would hit them as hard as I could so I didn't fall. right? I'd run as fast as I could around them so they couldn't catch me. And
that's motive right there.
I'm telling you, I never went into the locker room clean because at the end of practice they would go, "Look how clean Dan is," and they would all jump on me and make sure I got dirty. I am not lying to you. I promise you.
I believe you.
I promise you.
That's hilarious.
So
man.
it is a life trait that I know I don't want to be dirty. So that eliminates a lot of jobs. I don't want to. I've helped. Habitat for Humanity and building things, and you go out there and you do it for a really small window, and you're tired, you're sore, you're dirty, right? They can't pay me enough to do it. So you have that trait, then it eliminates a lot of stuff. So now you're going into things that you are good at. What are you really good at? So absolutely, self-actualization, and then you can move on from there.
Then we want to go to an Indeed source or a Monster or a job hall if they still have them in your local town. Or do they still do it in the newspaper? Can you circle? Do they got job?
I don't know.
If they
I don't
got
know anybody who reads a newspaper, man. Everything's online.
But cut your filters on, go to the Indeed, go to whatever, and just look at those jobs and interview as much as you can, especially since most of them are on Zoom.
Yeah, I would interview, get the experience, talk to older people, talk to your circle. I mean, when I was your age, a little bit younger than you, I would look at my circle. Like, which one of my parents' friends are the happiest? What do they do for a living?
Hey, that's a gem.
What do they do for a living?
That's tough.
Right? And I would talk to them. Well, how is that? That's exactly how I got into doing what I do now. I watched Uncle Chet. He'd be at Nana's house eating lunch every other day. And I'm like, do you work? Right? He had the best car, the biggest house of everybody in our circle. And I'm like, I see you all the time. You got a suit on, but I don't ever see you doing anything. What do you do? And that's how it started.
So get in touch with your resources.
Take a look at your circle, your parents' circle, and your friends' circle. And you've got friends that they look at what we do or what I've done. Hey, what's your dad do? I wonder if I could do that. Yeah, you can. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. So yeah.
Love it. So once you narrow down that job search, you want to find some people, you want to do the interviews, and you want to not go online, but make those calls, reach out to those mentors.
Not just go online.
Right, yeah, not just go online.
You can go online, but don't make that the end all. You want to talk to people, you want to see their reactions, because if you ask me a question and I go, well, yeah, that's cool, but I started off with,
about it.
I mean, or if I don't even say, well, what if I go, yeah, you can do that. I mean, you can't believe that.
Right.
If I scrunch my face up and shake my head up and down like it hurts, are you really believing that I'm saying yes to that?
No.
Well, you can't get that because when people go online and give reviews or talk about things, they're giving you the airy, fluffy, nice side. You want to be able to ask the dirty, gritty questions. How long did it take you to make 6 figures? Oh, it took me 3.5 years. Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And one of the things that you said is taking that time when you're off work to do the things that you love or to find your gift.
Yeah, that's for those people they're already stuck. You gotta say, look, I'm going to work for them. Now I'm going to go to work for me. And you gotta love you more than you love them. So you got to commit to yourself. And let's say you can't do it like after work. You can do it on weekends. Most people have weekends. You can do it on weekends. Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday until you go back to them on Monday. And you start researching, you start honing your craft, you start figuring it all out.
Okay. What would you say the shortest block of time you would give somebody, you would recommend? An hour?
A day?
Half hour?
To work on their...
Yeah, just to work on their stuff. Let's have a small parameter of a set time for you to just work on yourself.
First question I would say is, how much do you love yourself? Right? Number one.
Right.
Number two is, how much do I want what I say I want? So whatever I'm talking about. So if you say, and you already know I do this.
Yeah.
So somebody wants to work with me, I send them in a personal assessment. One of the questions says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about accomplishing this goal? 1 is obviously, I just heard about it somewhere, so I thought I'd check it out. But a 10 is, if I die doing it, that's what it takes, that's what I'm going to do. By any means necessary, I'm doing this. That's a 10. A 7 is, yeah, I've thought about this for a little while. So my point is that how much do you love yourself? I'm telling you now, I'm going to die trying to hit my goals or hitting my goals. I promise you I won't die twiddling my thumbs.
Right.
If there's something I want, I narrow it down, I focus on it, and that's all I can think about. Period. It wakes, you've heard Eric Thomas and other people, your passion, your dreams need to wake you up. That's true. Because you're dreaming about it. You think about it so much while you're awake, you're dreaming about it when you sleep.
Wow.
Right? So you wake up and you're thinking about it. So yeah, you don't need an alarm clock because you're ready. Oh man, I really want to get this 16-plex. I need to do this, and this. And that ain't gonna happen if I stay in the bed. Right? I need to do this, and so in order to get that done, I need to be physically fit. I need to look the part. Okay? So that means I got to get up and go to the gym so I can look the part. I ain't got nothing to do with selling the property, but in the big picture, it does. Right? If that's what it takes to do whatever you're doing. So, number one, how much do you love yourself? Number two, how serious are you? If you're not, I don't take anybody that's not a 9 or a 10. I don't. If you fill out my assessment and you put a 8 or below, I might look at an 8 and then read the rest of the review and see why they're an 8 if I can figure it out. Sometimes they're an 8 because they got a bunch of obstacles or they think money's an issue. But anything under an 8, they're not even ready to work with somebody like me.
So if you're under an 8, you need to go back to the drawing board
and figure out what's an 8 in your life.
Yeah.
An 8 or higher, exactly. Because I got lots of 8s. I want to learn how to roller skate. I got lots of things I really, really want to do. I want to play the piano. I got lots of things I really, really want to do. But if you want to be in that 5-10% of people that are winners, that are excellent, that are earning enough money, like I talked about the jacket, and that's all they do, you got to be in the top 5 to 10%. That means you got to give it all your extra attention. I mean, you know me. I've got the TV on in the background, but you very rarely see me just sitting down watching TV.
Oh yeah, I ask you what you watching. You don't even know.
I don't even know because I'm working and it's in the background. I'm kind of listening to it. I might stop it and start it over if they say something I really think is cool. But for the most part, I'm on my laptop. I'm writing things down. I'm researching. I'm figuring it out because it's 10. Right? And most people want to watch the latest Power episode or Game of Thrones or Bird of Prey or whatever is going on. I watched the Game of Thrones series, I think 3 years after it was over.
Right.
3 years after it was done. That's when I started watching.
They're dropping another one.
The Birds of Prey or Red somebody or something. I heard about it. Somebody tried to tell me to go watch it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
You're not gonna finish?
What do you mean finish? I finished Game of Thrones.
I'm telling you, they got something else. It's called the House of L or
it's
something like that.
Something else. Yeah. It's new. I'm not interested. I'll watch it in 3 years.
That's dedication, man.
No, I'm just being honest. So I don't watch series that are live and active because if you get hooked on that, then it's going to pull away from what you're supposed to be a 10 at.
Right.
Now you're a 10 at watching TV. Yeah, right?
That's a hell of a point.
I'm serious.
It really is.
It distracts me because I'll be sitting there going, you remember, this is so true. This is all true. The last series I really, really watched live on time, like it's coming out, the next episode's tonight, was Lost. Remember we did that? I ain't never doing that again. Never doing that again.
Bad.
Right? Because you're running home, you're trying to cut your appointment short, you're trying to get home so you can see what's going to pop off on this TV show. And it's so stupid you don't even realize how stupid it is.
And nowadays, there's no reason to do that. You got streaming services, like you said, you can watch it in 3 years.
I watched it 3 years
on
afterwards.
whatever platform it's on.
And every day, everybody was tweeting about it, talking about it, thinking about it. The water cooler covers, everything was Game of Thrones. I was honored to say I ain't seen it. Honored, I ain't seen it.
So that basically covers what they need to do to get there.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I want to talk about, which we kind of glossed over a lot, is a comfortability factor, where some people may even be at 8, but their habits are so stuck in watching the Game of Thrones or getting their chill time.
Yeah.
Where does comfortability meet? I need this downtime or I will go crazy in the office tomorrow.
Yeah, they never meet.
Woo!
right? I mean, mediocrity can never meet greatness. They never meet. So if you're comfortable, you're mediocre, right? Or you're retired. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't trust me. Trust and believe. I'm not being a jerk. We need average people to do average things. We need them.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have those people, right?
Absolutely.
We already know it's only 5 to 10% that are excellent. Let's not get it twisted. I don't consider myself in that 5 or 10%. I've been self-employed for a long time. I've had amazing years. I've had some weird years. But I know what the top 10% looks like, and I know I'm not there. So I am still maneuvering my expertise, even though I am undoubtedly an expert at what I do. Now I'm taking it, as you know, from a one-on-one to a global platform. So now how do I get my message out? So now I have to learn some new things about how to get your messaging out, how to change your messaging if it's my messaging sometimes can be a little bit coarse, right? So, telling people, look, if you're not a 10, you can't work with me. If you're not a 9, on the scale of desire, you can't work with me. And most people can't stomach that, right? Or they think they are a 9 or a 10, and when you tell them, they're like, yeah, you're not ready.
Right.
So, the thing really is to understand where you are, where you want to go, and understand that you can't get there being complacent. Complacent means you're good. Okay, I'm good where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at. I could be happier, I could be sadder, but I'm good where I'm at. It's never going, when you say I'm good where I'm at doing what I'm doing, you're never going to muster up enough desire, energy, to withstand a long-term effort that it takes to hit that top tier.
Hey man, I think that's a great way to close it, man.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's true.